Welcome to On Target, the show that aims a spotlight on the people, policies, and ideas making a meaningful impact across Florida. I'm your host, Rosanna Catalano with Arrow Group, proudly recognized as Florida's new lobbying firm of the year. As a subsidiary of Gunster, one of the state's leading law firms, we bring decades of cross-industry experience, combining legal insight with strategic advocacy to help our clients hit their mark and move Florida forward. On today's episode, I'm joined by my colleagues here at Arrow Group, Glen Gilzean and Edgar Fernandez. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Ro. How you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Well, Edgar, I'm going to start with you. You say hi to everyone at the Capitol. So how long have you been in the political process? What are some of the roles you have had prior to working at Arrow Group as a lobbyist?
I've been with Arrow now a year, but prior to that, I worked with Anfield Consulting. We were a small boutique firm for about 11 years. But I started my career in the Air Force, and that's opened up my outreach skills to work with people. But I worked in that for about 8 years in the military. But because of my parents' upbringing about education and outreach, I started in the Florida Senate. So I did the Senate, the House, and then I went into healthcare, doing a not-for-profit. But I got my teeth into the process was working at Miami-Dade County. I worked in the political, I worked in the management, assistant to the county manager. But my last 8 years, I worked in the water utility. And that's where I really got to learn a lot about my area of expertise in the environmental water space.
Nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Glen, you've been a fixture in Central Florida and have worked with many institutions. So when you step into a complex organization like the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District or the Central Florida Urban League, what are the first levers you pull in the first 90 days to create momentum as a leader?
So again, thank you for hosting us. This is a great podcast and it's an honor to be here. To answer your question, my objective is always identify who are some of my key team members, because culture is everything, right? And as you know, it's super important to build a strong, cohesive team because there's no I in team. You can't win championships with that. So the goal is to go in, understand the culture, and build a strong team.
So what specific metrics or signals tell you that your turnaround strategy or your strategy, even if it's not a turnaround strategy, is taking hold?
Great question. So in all of the capacities I had, with the exception of the Supervisor of Elections, I had a board of directors that I had to report to, and it's important to be aligned with that strategic plan. Now, one would argue that in the Supervisor of Elections role, that was more along the board of directors is the people, the voters. So it's important to have feedback from the bosses, the people, or the board of directors, and then utilize that as a vehicle to create that matrix going forward.
Thank you. Edgar, what is the focus for you during and after session for your clients?
Well, in Florida, a lot of folks haven't really realized for the last few decades, we've had a lot of challenges with the environment. We've got federal mandates, state mandates, and then we also have an aging infrastructure, local, state, and federal. So there's a lot of challenges while we're trying to, we're trying to renovate your house, at the same time living on it. There's a lot of changes going on while you're trying to do that process. So we're focused a lot on the regional approach, working with other groups to move the needle and get things done while we're trying to operate a lot of the infrastructure in Florida. So funding, we try to phase and be consistent, but with the challenges of COVID and many things, prices have gone up, prices have gone down, but we're trying to work as a region, as a state, and with the federal government on the nexus of connection. But it's the aging infrastructure is a lot of our focus. And then, before, during session, and after, is trying to make sure those grant dollars and those loan dollars are there. So after session, one of our expertise as an Arrow is working with our clients on looking for grants, looking for private organizations, foundations, and groups, and finding alternative funding methods to get these projects accomplished. So our goal is not just find the money and change the policy, it's actually beginning and to end and finish projects. So those are the goals in the infrastructure.
Can you tell us the type of clients that you work with primarily? I think you sort of alluded to that a little bit.
Well, we do a lot of local governments, state, federal, but I work with a lot also with the folks providing the service, the engineering firms, design firms. But one of the things what we did as a firm that we're working with organizations like Resiliency Florida Association. So we're looking at putting together all the planning, all the design, all the money. So that's one of the niches we have as consulting, that we help with those projects again. So there's a lot of synergy between the private and public sector. So, for example, we did the C-51 reservoir down in Palm Beach, and the state was a partner, but we had the private sector building it, delivering it, and the governments are involved in it. So we got that project done in South Florida, and those billions of gallons of water every day that we were dumping into the ocean, now we're able to use it for drinking supply or environmental purposes. So it's all about partnerships, and that's one of the things that we like to do at Arrow.
Is there a nexus between the legislature and the federal government in the type of work that you focus on?
Yeah, so a lot of the regulations, so I'll give you an example, PFAS, for forever chemicals, that's what we call them. The federal government's setting standards and on the regulatory mandates that they're putting, but the state has oversight on the licenses, and the money that comes down from the federal government is passed through really through the state government. So the state government has a partnership with the federal government on delivering those permits, those regulatory mandates, but also bringing those dollars down, and the state having the oversight and ensuring that we had delivery on those projects. So that's just one example in the regulatory space.
Well, thank you. Well, Glen, for those in the audience that are not familiar with you, you have quite a resume, and you've been tapped repeatedly for high stakes roles via gubernatorial appointments. So tell us about some of those roles.
Well, I would be remiss. One of the good things about coming and working here with Arrow, with not only yourself, Albert, and the rest of the team, Ron, Sharon, but Edgar is the man, right? Before I answer your question, I remember going in Central Florida, and I ran into a city manager, and he's like, "Oh, Arrow Group, do you know Edgar?" I was like, "Yeah," and he said, "Edgar, it got us millions of dollars," and I'm like, "I need Edgar," and he's like, "You work with him." So I just wanted you to know you're crushing it out there, and it's really an honor to be a part of you and working with you on this in this team. So as it relates to some of the opportunities that I've been very blessed to have. I mean, going from being the supervisor of elections versus in one of the most important election cycle, everyone says that, but yes, 2024 was a very important election cycle, to then working at the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, where, like Edgar, that organization is somewhat of a mini county, where we have water permits. I had to work with St. John's and also South Florida Water Management, and it was the first time opportunity doing that. And then I had my own firefighter department. So those are opportunities where a true blessing, but I took the responsibility of bringing transparency to every one of the roles I had, and being able to leave those organizations better than the way I got them. Again, it's just, a little kid like me who grew up in South Florida to Jamaican parents, and for me to have those opportunities is truly a blessing.
That's wonderful. So what's your process for stakeholder mapping and expectation setting when in the public eye, which can sometimes be intense?
So, to simplify that question,
Sure.
and just say that I think my process has always been, similar to Edgar, how can I bring the biggest value and ROI to our clients, right? And that's what makes the Arrow Group such the number one lobbying firm of the year, right? Last year. And we were able to do that because we always put our clients first, and we provide them the highest return on investment. And that's the same approach I had with any of the other roles, especially when I was in the nonprofit sector at the Central Florida Urban League, where it was all about, when we received a donor, how did we provide the biggest return on investment, which is staying true to your mission and being able to serve the clients that you're going to serve. Or at the Urban League, it was serving the community and providing value. It's the same thing that we're doing here at the Arrow Group, and it's just an honor and a blessing to be here.
I like how both of you describe the work that we do at Arrow Group, not only as a return on investment, but I've talked to some of our other colleagues that talk about being strategists, an extra tool in someone's toolbox, whether it's their business, their nonprofit. So, well, that wraps up today's episode. I think we've hit the bullseye mark with this episode. A big thank you to Edgar Fernandez and Glen Gilzean for joining us today and sharing their time and valuable insights. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to like and follow us so you never miss another episode of On Target. This episode is proudly sponsored by Arrow Group with high-level Relationships and the backing of Gunster, Arrow Group is redefining the government affairs landscape in Florida with a bold and strategic approach. True to our name, we're focused on precision, delivering sharp direction and innovative problem solving to help our clients hit their mark. To learn more about Arrow Group, our team, visit our website at arrow.gunster.com. To suggest a topic or guest for a future episode, please email us at podcast.arrow@gunster.com. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rosanna Catalano.